Oh, bless your heart.
I don't feel good. So I'm just dropping in to say there are only four people in the waiting room, but I'm gonna go ahead and just start letting them come in. And I'll just be right here. So if you have questions, I'll be in chat.
Okay, that sounds
Okay.
good. I'll let them know like you're sick and that you're there, but you're not there. So I can do that. Don't do that. Let's see. There we go. Hi, everybody. Waiting for a few more friends to join. Miss Katie is not feeling so good, so she's gonna be off. She's still here and she can answer questions through messaging, but she's not feeling good, so she's not gonna be on camera. So just letting everyone know. I'll probably be saying that a few more times. I should have waited until everyone was here first, but I went ahead. I got ex not excited, but I was like, I'm gonna go mention this before I forget. So we'll wait a few more minutes and see if anyone else joins, and then probably start around like 5:32, 5:33, kind of depending on that time. So, but yeah, um, let's see. I'm trying to think. I'm pulling up my list and looking at my list again. We're doing numbers, and I'm very excited. I'm a math teacher, so like whenever we do the numbers, I always get really like excited on it. So, if you're not a math person, that's totally fine. That's totally fair. But yeah, I get really nerdy about it. What are you doing? Okay. So let's see. A few. Perfect. All right. Let me make sure. I'm making sure my percentage is enough. Sometimes it likes to say we're good, and then it will like battery down. I'm like, wait a minute. Do not drop on me, please. Let's see. Oh, we should be good. Okay. So, 1, 2, 3. That's me. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Yes. I don't know if y'all could see the chat. For those of you who just joined, Miss Katie is sick. She is here, but not here on camera. She'll be here in the chat. So if you have any kind of questions that she needs to answer, she will answer it through that. Um, and yeah, so she will not be showing camera tonight. All right. Ugh. I don't know. I'm one of those people where I'm like, let's get going. I'm like, no, we need to wait just a few more minutes, like one more minute to make sure everybody else joins. Because last week was a big group, so I want to make sure we give everybody an opportunity to join and we can get going. So, but I love that this week is finally started feeling like actual winter. Since last week it was hot and gross. I'm like ready and happy now that it's winter. Just because I'm like, this is the normal. When we're not normal, that's a little weird. Let's keep on my expectation. I pulled out all my winter clothes. I cannot keep going back and forth between my short sleeves and my long sleeves. Yeah, it was Well, and we do recess every week at school, and we have like two locations, like one's the playground, one's the basketball court, and the fourth through sixth graders split it up and take turns like going each week. So one week it's basketball and one week it's playground. And I had set up the schedule for our rotation all the way back in August, but I stopped in December because I was like, usually January is so cold. I don't even know if we're going to go outside at that time. Usually it's always that first week back to school. It's so cold that we just don't even like go outside. And I was like, I'm not going to worry about it. I told my coworkers, they're like, that's fine, we're good. And then we were in the 60s and 70s on the first week back of school. And I was like, okay, well, let me real quick fix this schedule for you guys. So we have a schedule set again. Um, So yeah, I was like that. I was not expecting that. Normally, that first week is always so cold. There's always like that chance of snow. So it's interesting to not have that last week. But okay. So I think how many do we have? One, two, three. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and get started now. Just because this one can be kind of a lot. And I want to kind of make sure we get a good chance going and moving and grooving. So tonight, let me pin myself and then there we go. All right, perfect. Okay, so tonight we're gonna start with our numbers, and then once we finish our numbers, if we have time, we'll go ahead and get started with our time signs. So one of my favorite things I like to say, and I'm gonna mention it now before we start, is one of the cool things about ASL with numbers is that you can go up to 999 on one hand. Okay. So I don't know. That's like one of my like favorite like party tricks is always to tell people I can go up to 999 on one hand. I don't need my other hand. So you will see how and why we do that. Okay. So the first numbers we're going to do are the numbers 1 through 5, which we all know most of them. They're all the same as the ones we would expect, with only one little change. Okay. So not one, zero. I always forget zero. And I feel like even though it's like one like we all can assume, I'm like, I feel like I have to make sure to be like, yes, this is zero. I have to have like that confirmation, this is zero. But so 0, 1, 2, 3 is going to be your thumb out. 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So nothing too scary. The only differences are 3, and that's not a big deal. Okay. So then for our 6, because we're just going to go on ahead, our 6 is going to be your thumb and your pinky, what we typically do for 3. This is 6. 7 is going to be your ring finger goes down now. hmm 8 is then going to be your middle finger. And then 9 is going to be your pointer finger. And then 10 is going to be a thumbs up and you shake it. Okay. So my little trick, and we are going back through it, but my little trick for our number 6, 7, 8, 9 is that or really 1 through 10, is when you're counting, you're building your fingers up. And then when you're going to 10, you're going closer back to your thumb. So if you start here with the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it travels back to your thumb. Okay. So let's go again. Zero, 1. I kept wanting to say 1, 0 through 10. So we had 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10. Okay. Another question I do, not a question, another question. A question that I do get often is how to tell the difference between the number 6 and the letter W versus also the number 9 and the letter F. And so typically the way that works is there are two things. One is most of the time you can use context clues to kind of catch what which letter or number it would be. For example, if you are introducing yourself and you're saying your name, and if you're saying your name is Fred, it's not going to be 9RED. Most people do not have numbers in their names, especially that kind of way. So that one's like a context clue where you don't have to worry too much about it because typically most people do not have a number in their name. Now, if they're saying they're the third or the fourth or the ninth of a generational, that would be different because that would still make sense. You're saying your name is Fred Ninth, like the ninth kind of deal. So it's kind of easy to catch that. And then also same thing with phone numbers. Like if you're saying your number and you said it was 936 or whatever, it would yeah, spread the ninth. I was trying to think, I was like, well, if you did the ninth, that would be the only time. I don't know why I felt like someone was gonna be like, well, if you have a generation of the same name, I don't know. I'm always waiting for someone to like be like, no, that could be. So I'm like jumping ahead. But numbers, most of the time, it's not going to be F, 3, 6, or W. It's always going to be numbers. But there are those chances, especially for things like passwords and usernames, where they will have letters and numbers kind of combined. And what you can do is you can actually sign the sign forward letter and the sign for number to kind of clarify. So I'm going to give you those two signs right now. And the first one is letter. Letter is going to be an L, and you're going to tap it on your pointer finger. Letter. letter. And then the sign for number is going to be kind of like two little, we call these flat O's. So they're not fully circle, but they're a little bit flat, like smushed. And you're going to go number, number. So number one, number two. Okay. So if I were to say a username, and I always try to make up one and it just kind of goes crazy. Let's see, Fred. We're going to say Fred, okay? And I was saying Fred 934, whatever. I would do letter F, RED, number 934. So I just add it right before it. So that way it knows, okay, I'm talking about the number nine, that sort of thing. Okay? Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, perfect. All right, so let's one more time go 0 through 10. Most of y'all are getting, everyone's getting it, but I have to double check because some people always will flip up the 6 through 9, and I just have to double check once more. Then we'll move on to the next ones, okay? So we had 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10. Okay. I do love that if you have it set where like emojis will set off, if you do the nine, it like catches and it's like, yeah. And I'm like, it happens every class. I think it's so funny with that. Okay. So now numbers 11 through 12. 12. Goodness, y'all. Brain is not here, and I am so sorry. I'm in 11 through 15. I do not know what is happening. I think it's the second week of school, and it's like we're still getting in that routine. Goodness me. But so numbers 11 through 15, okay? What you do is it's going to be a very similar way. When you're doing it, you're going to actually have the back of your hand facing out, so you'll kind of be seeing your palm, okay? So for 11, you're going to be flicking your one finger up, 11. And then 12 is going to be two fingers flicking up. 13 is going to have your thumb out, and you're going to kind of have do the come here motion. 13. 14 is going to be four fingers with your thumb in, and you're going to do the same motion. 14. And then 15 will have your thumb out. 15. Now, when you're doing your numbers 1 through 10, if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that with the back of your hand, that is not going to make a big deal. If you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, either way, that one is okay. Numbers 11 through 15, it is important that you do have the back of your hand. Because if you do this, this is not going to look like 11. This is actually going to look actually like you're snitching, like you're tattling, because that's the sign for tattle. Or if you're doing 12, that would just look, it would almost look like the shape of another, like an animal. So you do want to keep your hand this way with it flicking up. Okay? So let's do 11 through 15 one more time. I know we're pacing it very slowly. I do this because numbers can get confusing very fast, and I want to make sure we're doing it over and over again so we're following through. So we had 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay. So now 16 through 19, okay? There are going to be two ways you can do it. I kind of say either way is acceptable. There's no one's better than the other. It's kind of more of a preference. So whichever one you kind of prefer, that you can use. So the first one for 16 we're going to do is you're going to make a 6 and you're going to shake it 16. Okay, so that's one way, 16. The other way is going to be your pinky is going to bounce on your thumb, 16. 16. This one is not always the most comfortable one, especially when your hands are not used to moving like that. Like I almost like to say my hands can just move like nobody's business, but I've been signing for 10 years now. Like it's not an issue to me. But when you're not used to moving your hands in weird shapes, it's like, okay, pinky, like your pinky's like about to revolt on you. Yeah. So I think that's why a lot of people do, especially when they're learning ASL, they do start with this 16. And sometimes, because you don't even notice it, I would do 16 when I first learned, and I don't know when, but I suddenly stopped and went to 16. It almost is like a natural like transition where you just suddenly are like, this one's not it for me anymore. This one is. But either way works. Okay, so we have our 16. Then for 17, you're going to have a 7, and it's the same option. So 17, where you shake it, or 17, where you bounce your ring finger on your thumb. I know it's a weird one. Trust me. I'm not going to be like, you have to sign this one. No, when we review, it's up to you. It's whatever you guys choose. Okay. So then we have 17, 18 is going to be the same. 8, 18, or 18. Okay. And it's your middle finger. There you go. 18. Then we have 19. So 19, 9, shake, or 19. It's going to do that for the rest of the time we do the number 9, and I love it every time. Okay, let's go back 16 through 19 again. Like I said, it is up to you. So if you want to do 16 or 16, either way, I'm good with both. I will probably show both again, but you guys can kind of choose how you want to do it. All right, so we have 16 or 16. Sorry, I stopped right here because I saw the question. I was like, you do want to have it facing outward. I would recommend facing it this way when you're doing your numbers counting. Because if you have it back here, that can look like a different sign, and I can see that getting confusing easily. So you do want to have it out here, 16. When you shake it like this, either, I mean, you're kind of having it down, so this one does not have too much of a difference, but the 16, I would keep it out this way. Okay. 17. 17 or 17. Then 18, 18 or 18. Okay. 19, 19 or 19. Okay. How are we feeling on numbers now? Are we feeling still good? You guys keep signing them like it's natural, and it's honestly freaking me out. I'm not gonna lie. I normally have people that are like, wait, what was it again and again? And y'all are just keep on doing it. I'm like, have we practiced before? What's going on? I'm being suspicious of y'all. Some of y'all are seeing, I'm seeing, I'm like, y'all know your numbers already. So, okay, let's move on. Our 20 through 25. All right. This is going to be our final chunk. Literally, the pro class, and it's freaking me out. Quit it. No, actually, don't. Please continue. I love it. I love seeing people who know their ASL already. What I was saying, so from 20 to 25, that's going to be our final individual signs. And then I will show you how you would continue on all the way up to about 99. Okay? Because what it will do from about 26 into 99 is it's going to be a repetitive pattern where we're going to just kind of do the same motion, just changing our numbers. Okay? So for 20, 20 is going to be baby shark. So your pointer finger and your thumb tapping. 20. Okay. For 21, excuse me, you're going to have that L shape and you're going to bounce your thumb. 21. Mm-hmm. 21. And it is kind of on your side. So you're not like going in front of you, it's on your side. 21. Okay. For 22, you're going to have a 2 and you're going to go 2, 2. 22. Okay. 22. And then 23 is going to have a 3 and your middle finger is going to bounce. 23. Okay. Then for 24, we're going to do a similar motion we did for 22 where we go 24, 24, 24. It is kind of a bouncing motion, 24, but you're not being so 22, 4. It's 24, 24, 24. Okay, 24. And then 25. 25 is going to be a 5. You're going to have your ring and your middle finger together and you're going to bounce. I like to say it's almost like Spider-Man. If any of y'all were big Spider-Man people, because I was, and that was a big deal when I learned that. I was like, oh, 25 is Spider-Man. So 25. Okay. So let's go back. We had 20, mhm, 21, mhm, 22. And you only do it one time. I'm just repeating it almost like how I say it over and over again. So 22, 23, mhm, and then 24, 24, 4. You can bounce it down or you can kind of slide it. It's more of a preference for that. I know I keep flipping and I need to stop. It's me showing the like starter of 24 and then the natural like sliding of it coming out. Either way will work. 24, 24. And then 25, 25. Mm-hmm. And you want to make sure your middle and your ring finger are the ones together. Okay. All right. So right now I'm going to mention one thing that is a slight, sorry, my dog just randomly was licking me. I was like, what are we doing? But I'm going to mention one other way that you can also sign your 20s. This is more of, I say more of an advanced, but I am just letting you know this is more of an exposure than, excuse me, than really teaching. We're not going to really practice and drill on this one. I'd rather you know that this is the 2 and this is the 4 versus the other way. But I do want to let y'all know in case you do go out and talk with someone and they do this sign and you're like, wait, that's not a number. It is. So some people will do their 2s instead of doing a 2, they'll do the L, okay? Because it's still 2 fingers. So they'll go 24, 24, 24, or when they do 26, that kind of thing. They'll do that same motion instead of 26. There is no real, oh, this one's better than the other. There's not really any of that. It's again just kind of more preference. When I was learning it, I was more on the 24, like 24, 26, that sort of deal rather than the 24. I will say, as I've continued on and with teaching, I have kind of transitioned into the 24, but there are still times where I will do 2 and 4. So if you see this with a number, this is still a 20, okay? This still means 2. All right. Now, for, sorry, I've seen someone's message. If I use lots of bouncing conversation, bouncing can almost be sort of a tone, okay? Or the way you move. So, for example, when you're bouncing a lot, it's sorry. I saw the question, I immediately answered and I went, wait a minute. I'm still in the middle of answering another question. Teacher brain jumps sometimes. But yeah, 23. It's the middle finger. When you bounce a lot, it can be almost like when someone's being very choppy in their talk and their speech. So when they're very like, let's not do that anymore, that kind of like obnoxious bouncing kind of tone. It's the same thing when you do a lot of bouncing in ASL. So if you're, especially with spelling, being like, FRIEND, friend, being very is in your face bouncing versus just fingers spelling it slowly and smoothly. Um, it wouldn't be as more like being impatient. Impatient would show more bigger, and more dramatic kind of deal is how I would say. So with bouncing, I don't see it as more of a impatience as more of a kind of in your face a bit more. So, okay. All right. Where's I going? Back to it. So we had our 20s. We did, like I said, that weird 20. Again, I'm not trying to give you all that one to like try to focus on y'all to learn that one. That's just an exposure. I will mention a couple of things throughout the classes that may be something that, hey, you may see this, and this also can mean the same thing, but I'm going to have you focus on this one more because it's the starter kind, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. So let's see. I lost my train of thought. I'm coming back. All right. Now, after 25, so 26 and up pretty much, you're going to be doing that same thing we did with 22 and 24, where you go 26, 27, 28. 29. You can also, you don't have to make that big. You can just go 26, 27, 28, that sort of thing. 29. You'll just keep doing that moving. That slide, 2, 9, 2, 9. Um, with our 10, so 30, 40, 50, 60, you typically will just go 30. So 3, and it turns into the 0. So instead of going 30, you just go 30, 30, 30, 30. 30. Okay. So then it would be 31, 32. Our doubles do bounce 33, 33. They do that 22 motion more so. 33, 34, 35, 36. If we're going too fast, tell me to slow down. Okay. So you kind of keep actually just spell. Oh my gosh, what is up with me? Trying to voice spelling while saying signing. Goodness. You'll just sign the number. So 3 and 4, 3 and 5. I know 3 is a weird one. It can feel, it's not the most comfortable at the first. So 3, 5, 3, 6, 3, 7. Okay. Does that make sense? I know that was a bit all over the place. Okay, let's go back once more and do that again because I know I kept going fast with my numbers. So I'm going to slow it down again. Okay, so we had 26, 27, 28, 29, and then 30. Okay, then we had 31. Yeah, 30. 31, 32, 33. The doubles will bounce. Yes. I saw that question. Yes, they do bounce. They go 33. 34, 35, 36. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 37, 38. Mm-hmm. 39. Mm-hmm. And then 40. So 4 into the O. 40. 40. Okay. I know your hands are also probably, if you've not signed, you're probably like, yeah, your hands are like, what is happening? They're probably very not happy with you right now. That does happen. And that's where I have to slow myself down because I'm so used to it. I can just count up all over. And I'm a math teacher, so I'm constantly like signing numbers. That's why I was like, oh, we've got to slow down. I'm going at this like everyone's hands are having no problems. And I'm like, some of y'all are trying to get your hands and wrists in the right position. So my bad, you guys. But okay, so like I said, that's going to be your same pattern all the way up to 99. Okay? You just follow that same pattern. So even if you were doing 74, it would be 74, 74, 74, 74. And like I said, when you have your tens, it's just going to turn into itself. So 40, 50, 60 is you make a 6, and yet, and you just bring your 3 fingers down, 60. 60. 70 is same thing, 70. 80 is you flatten it, 80. And then 90. Okay? So that's how you do your tens. And you can repeat those a few times. It's not a strict of one time, 90 or 90. Both will work. It just kind of almost depends on the conversation. Sometimes I'll be like 90, and then sometimes I'll be like 90. That's it. But there's no strict however many times you assign it. So, okay. Let's go back. I do want to do 0 through 25 because those are our most different signs. And then once we finish that, we'll move on to our hundreds. Okay? So we had 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Remember, either way, you can shake it or you can bounce it. 16. Okay. 17, 17 or 17. 18, 18. Yep, you got it. Trust yourself. I saw you stare at your hand going, is that right? 18 or 18. Then 19, 19 or 19. Then we had 20, 20. 21. 22, 22. 23, 23. 24, 24. 4. And then 25, 25. Okay. How are y'all feeling on your numbers 1, 0? I keep saying 1, 0 through 25. We're feeling good, feeling like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of numbers. It will, it does take time and practice. I like to, again, same thing when I said with ABCs last week. I'll be out and about. And if I see numbers, I will try to sign that number, even if it's just the individual or even kind of chunking it. So that kind of practice really helps a lot. Or I'll count with finger spelling with my numbers. That helps a lot too. It takes the time for sure. So, okay. Let's move on to our hundreds. So, if you remember at the beginning of the class, I said we can go up to 999 on one hand. Okay? So we're still, I know. Some of y'all had joined in a little bit, and I was like, I think they missed my favorite part. So, we are still only using one hand, okay? For 100, what we're going to do is it's just you add one extra sign for the hundreds, all right? So for 100 or 100 in general, you're going to start with this 1 and you're going to pull it back into a C. 100, 100, 100. And that's really it when you're talking about hundreds, okay? So you would do 200, 300, 300, 300. Sometimes you can do 300 where you're not really adding the others, 300. This is more, I don't want to say lazy sign, but my best comparison is, like how in the English language you can say, we are not doing this versus we aren't doing this, the conjunctions. That's kind of the same way in ASL, at least in my mind, because instead of going 300, we're doing 300. That sort of thing. So you can do it where you bouncing. I'm still bouncing it back a little, but I'm not going all the way back. 300. But I would recommend, since you're still learning and trying to still pick up ASL, I would do 300 just for now to make sure you know that that C is the 100. Okay? 300. All right. Then we have 400, 400, 400. 500, 500, 500. 600, 600, 600. 700, 700. 800, 800. And 900, 900. Okay. So those are our hundreds. Now, if you were to say 234, okay? All you would do is just add on 234. So it'd just be 234. Okay? That's it. That's pretty much it for your hundreds. Okay? You just add it in front. You're just kind of adding. Same as what we do when we're writing out our numbers. If you're putting 100, you're just adding a number in the front. Um, so that's how we can get up to 999. 999. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so that's a good question. If you were talking about 207, a number that there's no tens, you would just go 200, 207, 207. You just say 207. When you do that 200 and you just add the 7, that automatically will tell them, okay, you're talking about 207. 207. I'm still trying to get used to everyone's name, so I'm like, who asked the question? Where are we? There we are. So, okay, but now you have a cool little party trick where you can tell people I can count up to 999 on one hand. Because everybody's always like, I can count up to 10 to 20. At least I remember when I was in school, we used to brag about that, how many we can count up to on our hands. Now you totally beat everyone with 999. So, okay. The next two, we have two more signs for our numbers. And then I think, let's see, we may start a little bit of our time. May. Okay. I'm going to see how we're feeling. So the next two signs I'm going to show you are the signs for thousands and then the signs for millions. Okay. So the sign for 1,000, you are now going to need your other hand. So your non-dominant hand is going to be palm up and your dominant hand is going to be in this one position. Okay. So for 1,000, you're going to go 1,000. And you're going to bend your hand and go at the base of your palm. 1,000. So 1,000. Okay. And normally you do have it. Sorry, I know I'm trying to position where you can see it. It's going to be where your fingers are pointing out like towards you. So have your hand that way and you go 1,000. 1,000. Yeah. And it is much lower. It's not so in your face. It's just you can't see me when I do 1,000. So 1,000. Okay. Then 2,000, same thing, 2,000, 3,000, and so forth. I'm not going to make us go all the way up to 9,000 again, okay? Um, but you would do, and you would still continue. So if you're talking about 10,000, you would still do 10,000, okay? If you were to say 999,000, let's say we're going big like that, you would still do 999,000. Okay. Yes. So it'd be 999,000. That's how you do 100,000s, is you just add that 100 and then you add that 1,000. Okay. So it's kind of think about how we voice it as almost how I say it. We say 999,999. That sort of deal. If we're talking about all the nines. Okay. Yes. All right. Sorry. I was seeing you signing it. I went inside, I was like, I'm gonna watch him make sure he's got it. And he got it. I was like, okay. And I realized there's other people probably watching me stare and going, what is she doing? I was checking. So that's how you're gonna do your thousands, and you can just keep adding it. All right. So it's not too much as there's too many different signs. It's just kind of keeping your process, like what is the next number? Okay. So for our last one, a million. All right. We're gonna have the same position as 1,000. And you're going to go one, and instead of doing just 1,000 here, you're going to go 1,000,000. Okay. And I'm bouncing from the base of my palm to right before my fingers become fingers. Okay. So 1,000,000. 1,000,000. Okay. 1,000,000. All right. So if we were going to do 2,000,000, we would just go 2,000,000. 2,000,000. Okay. Now, again, same thing that we did for 1,000. If you were going to say 300 million, 300 million. Okay. Right. Yes. So 300 million. Yes. Okay. So that just kind of is that slow adding up to numbers. I'm trying to think. I'll go ahead and say it. I always love to tell this story because I think it's a very funny story. Back when I taught, wow, like I've been that many years. Um, One of my second years teaching, no, my first year teaching, that's right. I had this one student and we were talking about something, and I remember he brought up his grandmother. And he was talking about how old she was. And he was talking about she was so ancient. So I asked him, I was like, well, how old's your grandmother? She can't be that old. And he went 2 million and then decided to be funny and he kept bouncing. So he was like, two, and he kept making this motion. And this is like it kept bouncing. And so for those of you who probably have been around kids before, or at least know, if you remember or even seen where they like to be dramatic with numbers. You'll ask them, well, how old do you think I am? I think you're 1 billion, trillion, zillion, a million years old. That sort of thing. Translate right into ASL as well. Kids do the exact same thing, they just add slightly changes. And so my first year student, one of my first years teaching, he did that and I thought it was the funniest thing because I had never seen that before. I mean, and he stuck his arm out like it just keeps going. She's just so old. I was like, I giggled and I said, that's rude. Your grandmother's not that old. And he's like, yeah, she is. I was like, mm-mm. But I love seeing that funny, dramatic play on words with this. If you were to talk about billion, trillion, those fancy words, typically billion is a B in a circular motion. So like 2 billion, it's not going to keep adding up here. And when in doubt, you can always fingerspell billion. But if you're able to talk about that, good for you. We're right here at our millions most of the time. So, but yes, I just always love to tell that story because I think it is really funny. Okay, let's go back to our hundreds real quick. We're going to review 100,000 and million, and then I'm going to leave it open for any questions real quick, and then see how we're all feeling. Okay. All right, so we had our hundreds, so 100, 100, 100. Then we had our 1,000, 1,000. And then our 1 million, 1 million. Okay? All right. How are we feeling on these last three signs? We feeling good? Feeling like, yeah, they take time. My like little helpful hint, especially with the hundreds, is if you maybe it doesn't help. If you remember Roman numerals, I'm pretty sure 100 is a C. So a C. I just always think about that Roman numeral C, 100, 100, that sort of thing. May help some, may help, may not. Not may help. Nope. Oh, goodness. You also notice my English really goes kind of wonky because I'm so stuck in the ASL mind at work that when I come and have to like code switch back to English, it's like, okay, hold on a minute. And what's the correct grammar? What's the correct structure for this? It does happen a lot. I jokingly always say the more you learn ASL, sometimes the more your English will go down a little bit. Um, Especially if you go fully like invested in ASL like mindset. And I've done that a lot. I'll forget the sign, not the sign. I'll forget the word of things. And I'll be like talking, have a conversation with my parents, and then they'll ask me something and I'll answer in ASL or I'll straight up be like, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but this is the sign for it. And I'll like sign it. And my parents will just look at me and go, that does not help me. I don't know ASL. I'm like, but this is the sign. I know the word. This is the sign. And I will sit there and sign it over and over and stare at it and go, why do I have the sign but not the English word? It's a mess, guys. It happens. So, I was gonna see, let's see the messages. Yes, we will review 10 through 25. We can definitely do that. See, okay, I did not know that about Spanish, so that's cool. I do like that. So I don't know if anyone saw the message, but 100 in Spanish is cien. Cien, I don't know. I think I said that right. So if you know Spanish, that's C, 100, C, that sort of thing. Okay? All right. Let's review 10 through 25 one more time, and then I'll kind of open up if there's any more questions. Okay? So we had 10, then 11. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 16, or 16, whichever, 17, 17, or 17, 18, 18, or 18, 19, 19, or 19, 20, 20. Then we had 21, so 21. 22, 2, 2, 22. Yeah, there you go, 22, 2, 2. And then 23, 23. 24, 24. And then 25, 25. Now, if you were ever to forget 21, 23, 25, any of those numbers, if you momentarily forgot, oh, I don't know, you can still do 2, 1, that's fine, or 2, 3. They may judge you a little, but they're not going to not understand you. They're going to know you're talking about a number. They may judge you a little, though. I have to say that, okay? That they may just be like 21, 23, but they may be nice. I can't vouch for everybody, but they will know what you're saying if you did 2, 1 or 2, 3. So if you did forget those signs, you can do that. Or even if you forgot 20 and you're like 20, you could do 2, 0. They may ask you to clarify if you're talking about 200 or 20, but then at least you can see the sign and go, oh, 20, that's right. Most of the time, and I have to say most, I can't say always, most of the time, deaf people are very, like, they can be very nice and they just appreciate seeing that someone's actually trying to learn to communicate with them. And so a lot of times they can be very patient, and try to help you when you're trying to figure out a sign. And it's very helpful. I do appreciate it. Not everybody's going to be that way. There may be some that are not patient and they're going to be like, "Ah, whatever, it's just easier to write." But there are those that will be usually very appreciative and will even teach you a few signs or even show you a couple of different things. So, let's see. Okay, we have about 15 minutes. I'm gonna leave it open real quick. If you have any questions, you can put them through chat, or if you put your hand up, we can unmute, things like that. If you have any kinds of questions, they don't only have to be ASL. They can be deaf culture related if you have a question about that as well. Yes, Katie.
I couldn't find the hand raise thing. I'm sorry. Can you do letter one more time?
Say that one more time.
Letter?
Okay, I'm so sorry. I do not know what happened. I heard bladder and I went, did we talk
Nope.
about that? I don't know why the sound did not come through. Letter. So it's an L and you're just going to tap it on your pointer finger. Letter. Letter. And then number. Right. So letter, number. Okay. Any other questions? I'm looking. Sometimes I can figure out when someone's typing and when someone's not. So I always try to watch and see. Okay. If anyone does not have any more questions, what we can do, I'll leave it up to you guys to kind of decide because I know there was a lot of numbers, it was a lot. We can either finish kind of early tonight if you want, or we can start a little bit of our time signs, okay? Which y'all rather work on. I knew you would. You've been motivated. I was like, I know there's some of these people are gonna be like, time, please, yes. And then some are like, girl, I'm a little overwhelmed. That's totally fine. I get both. So, are you guys good with going ahead with time, or would you be rather done for the night? Either way, I will leave it up to y'all. Okay. Okay, time. Okay. Let's do some time. Okay, we'll do a little bit. I promise. I will not go too crazy on it. All right. So the first sign we are going to do is the sign for time itself. So the sign for time is you're just going to tap like you have a watch. And I did get called out for this. Most of the time I don't get called out, but I did get called out for this because when I sign the sign for time, I do time. My watch is right here though. That's just because I'm one of those weirdo lefties who does not put her watch on her right hand. She puts it on her left hand. Don't know why. I grew up with a bunch of right-handed people, okay? I think I just learned, oh, you put it on your left hand. So I'm one of those weirdos that has it on her dominant hand. And most of the time, nobody notices. And then someone was like, your watch is right there. And I said, yeah, I still don't sign it. I go time. So even if your watch is on the other hand, you can feel whatever's comfortable. Dominant, I mean, time, either one. So, time. All right. So then we're going to start with today. So the sign for today is you're going to have two Y's. All right. You're going to turn them up like this, and you're going to have them more flat, like facing up. And you're going to bounce today, 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 today. And again, this is much more lower and more comfortable, but you cannot see me bouncing today. So today. All right. Today. The next one we're going to do is the sign for now. So for now, same position as today, but instead of bouncing it twice, you're going to go one time. Now. Now. Mm-hmm. I like to think about when your mom is calling you and saying, get over here now. It's very final, like you're not wasting any time. Now. Okay. Oh my gosh, yes, no, please. All right. I'm sorry, I have to interject real quick. The more dramatic you are, the better ASL can be. Okay. I'm a very dramatic person. So my facial expressions, like how everything happens, it's great. Trust me. Like you don't want to be flat with your signs. You want like where it's just like you're kind of straight faced. If your regular personality is you don't really show a lot of your emotions on your face, that's totally fine. Don't be forcing yourself too bad. But like, if you are a person who likes to show your facial expressions, don't hide it, okay? Like, let it out. I'm very all in the face. So, and it works wonderful for ASL. Trust me, it gets a point across very easily sometimes. Okay, I had to say that. I was like, I saw that. I was like, ah, fellow dramatic person. Yes, I love it. Okay, the next sign we're going to do is the sign for tomorrow. Now, before we do that, I am going to explain a little bit about how time works with our past, present, future. All right. So anything that's going to happen now, like present, so today, now, is going to stay in this bubble with your body. All right. Anything that happens in the future is going to go in front of you. All right. So it's going to be in this area in front of you. Anything that happens in the past is going to go behind you. So my visual is imagine being on an actual timeline, like you are actually standing on a line that's a timeline. Typically, anything that's going to happen in the future is going to be in front of you. You're walking towards your time, like the future. It's not a going backwards, you keep walking forward, okay? And then anything that happens in the past is going to always be behind you because it's been done. All right? So that's the visual because that does come back later as well. Okay? Excuse me. So for the sign for tomorrow, you're going to have a thumbs up or an A, really. You're going to have it on the corner of your mouth and you're going to bring it forward. Tomorrow. 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 Then for yesterday, there are two ways you can do yesterday. The first one is going to have that same sort of A in the corner of your mouth again. And you're going to now bring it back to your ear. Yesterday. 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 The other way you can do it is with a Y, where you have it same sign. It's just a Y. Yesterday. Yesterday. This can be what's more English-based ASL, where you just have the letters to kind of clarify more. There's nothing really wrong with doing that. I do yesterday. I do that as well. It's just kind of a preference. This one here is more ASL based, whereas this one has more English in it. But I do see people, even deaf people, who still do yesterday or yesterday. It's not as big of an issue with that, okay? So let's go back through those that we had. We had today, today, today. And then we had now, now. Then we had tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. And then yesterday, 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 or yesterday. Okay. Either one. Okay. So I always like to throw those in first because I think those are kind of the more common ones we see. especially with those more instant today, tomorrow, yesterday sort of thing. All right, now. Okay, we'll do five more and then we'll stop, okay? I'm trying not to throw too much at you. I promise. I'm trying to be easy with it. So, the next one we're going to do is we're going to do minute, hour, week, month, year, okay? Those, I promise they're not that bad. I saw those eyes go, whoop. I was like, oh no. So, minute, all right? Minute is going to have your non-dominant hand flat like this with your pointer finger right here, all right? And what you're gonna do, I'm gonna turn it so you see it. Typically it is this way, but I'm gonna turn it so you see it. Is you're gonna go minute, minute, minute. Okay? Minute, minute. All right. So the visual of this, think about it, is this is the back of, like, this is the clock, and this is your longer pointer finger for that minute, like, and it's moving around. I know it looks a little, maybe it looks right to y'all. Because I'm left-handed, it looks weird because it looks like I'm going backwards, but it should look like I'm going from like 12 to 1 to 2, 3, so forth. Minute, minute, okay? Minute. Another way you can do minute is you have, especially for 1 minute, is you're going to have your pointer fingers for both hands, and your non-dominant pointer finger touches the base of your dominant, and you go minute, 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 minute. This one is more for talking about how many minutes left. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you can kind of add that number to it. 10 minutes, 12 minutes, that sort of thing. So if someone's asking you, like, how much more time is left till you get off work, or when do you leave? 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes, or 12 minutes. You kind of, that one's not, I promise, we will practice that one next week as more. Okay. That one can get complicated fast, but so that's the minute, minute. Okay. Then we have our hour. Hour is going to be still back here with our face, our clock again, okay? Same position, but this time you're going to go in a circular motion. Hour, hour. So think about, again, that long hand that always goes all the way around, okay? So it's going all the way around. Hour, hour. All right? And with this one, you can do where you can add the numbers to it. So what I mean by that is you can have 2 and go 2 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm going to turn it again. I keep 3 hours, 4 hours. You can add that. If it's something big where it's like 10 hours, you can just go 10 hours. So 10 and then that 1 hour. Okay? All right. So technically this one, I knew someone was gonna ask me that, because every time I have to stare at my hand and I always like get too complex with it. Typically I'm moving mine away, but I'm left-handed. So if you're right-handed, you would go away. Yeah. Mine's reverse. So like if you look at it, turning it this way, I'm actually following the hour motion. It does look backwards, but that's not going to be the end of the world if you're going backwards or forwards. It's typically you're going out, like going towards that person, that sort of thing. I always have to stare at it. Sometimes these numbers, I'm like, or these signs, I've gotten so used to doing them that I'm like, wait a minute. If you did turn it this way, what would it look like? I have to kind of look at it again. So hour. Okay. All right. I lied. We're not going to do the next three. We'll do one more and then we'll stop. Because I realized it's like minute is very much, there was like two different ways. And I was like, oh, I told them we'll do five. And then I added like another sign to minute. I was like, oops, no, let's not do that. So we'll do one more and then we'll stop. Okay. So the next one we need to do is day. Okay. And so for day, you're going to have your non-dominant arm flat, and your dominant arm is going to be in this kind of pointer finger D shape. Either way, open D or flat, it does not matter. Okay? And then you're going to bring it down. Day. Day. Okay? Day. Okay. Ha! Okay, I'm sorry. I saw someone ask, how would you sign stop wasting my time? Oh my gosh. Okay. You waste my time. It would be waste. It's like throwing it out. You waste my time. Waste my time. I have done that one. Because, I work with kids. Sometimes they're just like, and I'm like, you're wasting my time. Come on, let's go. So waste, it's like you throwing it out. Waste time. Waste time. So you want to be like, you're wasting time. You're wasting my time, wasting time. That's a fun one. I love those kinds of ones. Um, but yes, okay. So I thought that is fun. Waste my time because I do say that one. All right. Let's go back and do our minute, hour, and day, and then we'll kind of finish there, okay? So we had our minute, 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 or minute. Minute. Then we had our hour, hour, hour. And then we had our day, day. Okay, day. All right. I teach fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. So I teach all those grades math. Yes. And I love every minute of it. I'm such a nerd when it comes to the math. Listen, I actually enjoy these grades. These are some of my favorite grades. I've had to work with other grades before, and it's like, okay, wait a minute. I've like lost myself. I'm like, where do I go? And love them to death. I'm not a high school teacher. I'm just not. Okay. My bubbly personality does not fit with them. Because they're just like, I need you to like chill. And I'm like, no. So I love my grade level, fourth through sixth grade. It's the best. And I'm totally biased and I'll say it. Let's see. So actually that can be a comment. Is someone asked, they said they were a lefty and it was easier to sign with their right hand rather than their left hand. Yes, it's almost the way I like to compare it is, for example, and this is such a very specific example, soccer. Some people are left-handed and may kick with their right foot, or they may be right-handed and they kick with their left foot. I'm a full lefty all the way down. I write with my left, I kick with my left. And so some people do actually get more comfortable using their right hand to sign. It really is just kind of a preference. I typically follow with my dominant hand, and I think that's just because it's more natural for me, but it goes each way. And I've seen a few people who will sign more with their right hand and then write with their left, or the vice versa. And I'm like, interesting. So it is kind of an interesting thing. I have seen that a few times though. And then I was seeing, what was it? What was it? There was another thing I was gonna talk about with that, and then it dropped from my head. That I will say. You will see, yeah. So there are times where I may just naturally just like sign a sign, and you may catch me, just you get a few extra special words because there will be signs where I'll just go like, wait a minute, like this is like it disappeared. So this is the sign for like disappeared, and I will like drop it from my head. And that's why I was like, I went poof, went away. So you'll catch that if you pay attention to what I sign. Sometimes you will catch different signs here and there, and you could be like, wait a minute, I just saw that. I now know what that one is. But yeah, because I can't help it. I have to sign. It's hard to turn it off, not to turn it on. Okay? Oh yeah. I can't stop. I wish I could stop, okay? Like I've had family dinners where I just sign instead of answer in spoken language. I do that with my friends. They're all used to it now. So like you're just getting it because that's just me going. And again, I turn my voice off. Sorry on that. Anyways, I'm gonna stop it now because I can keep chatting, and bless y'all's hearts, y'all have literally been with me doing all these numbers and everything. But next week, I think we're gonna start with, and Miss Katie, if you're there, you can tell me I'm wrong in chat and I will totally accept it. I think next week we're gonna start with, well, we'll continue with some more of our time signs. We still have about half to keep going through. Then we'll start with our WH question words, I think is the next one. I need to double check that again. We have kind of flipped it depending on the classes. Yes, well, most things, not everything. Tomatoes? Do you mean, oh my gosh, tomatoes. Y'all, that is her most offended sign. And we will, when we get to food, you will love it because I don't know, I think it's funny. So you can keep that in the back of your mind why she made a big deal about tomatoes. Those are fighting words. Okay, last one. So the sign for show me. All right. I'll go and explain this later, but basically it's a pointer. Your dominant points to the base of your five and you bring it towards me. Show me. Show me. Okay. Show me. All right. We'll talk about that later because that gets complicated and I'm not holding you anymore. So, um, I think, like I said, we'll finish up time. We'll do, I think, WH question words. There may be one more topic in there. Miss Katie will probably send y'all an email and let y'all know as well. But yeah, so if you have any questions you think of over the weekend, please feel free to, save them for next week, or you can email Miss Katie and we can save them and talk about them. I know I've seen some questions about different signs, and we are in the process of discussing with that. And so we'll see, and I promise we will get to them. I know we didn't get to them this class, but we will talk about them for sure. And yeah. Okay, well, I hope I did not overwhelm y'all too much and that you enjoyed class tonight. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of y'all's week, and I will see you guys all next Tuesday. Bye, guys.